Yoo-hoo! Good morning. Good afternoon, rather. I'm having coffee, playing some DVD. Tell me what's on your mind this Sunday. The United States is going through some shit right now, as usual. Um, but we ball. Let's just get right into the games. Oh, my whole face cam's off. There you go. Oh, I can't zoom in any closer. Actually, what if I did this? Would that be crazy? Or would it bother me? I don't have any of my lights on. Closer to the TV. Back the fuck up, back the fuck up. RBD!
Let's hit those generators.
Oh, it's a spring trap. Hi, Michonne. I'm standing here. Yeah, already working on it. There's Meg down there. There's Nana. Okay. Everyone's here. Everyone's accounted for. Everyone but Springtrap, by the way. This back is open, by the way. Oh, Springtrap. Go, go, go. Come. He gave up on me. Is there a gen outside? He's not far, he's not far. Woo! Whoa there, buddy, be careful. You're gonna hurt somebody with that thing. You're gonna hurt somebody with that thing. Be careful, dude. You're gonna take an eye out. chasing after the Nia. Help me! Help me! Easy. All the gens are finished. I'm just gonna go straight for the door. Is he still camping? Alright, Michonne, you ready? Got off. He got off. Nia, where are you? Come this way, please. Oh, Nia went the wrong way. I don't know where they are. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. No, this way. Come, come. What are you doing? Where is she going, dude? I'm trying to help you. Ronnie, hi. How are you, friend? Good morning, good morning. I'm so happy you're here. Go get a coffee. Come hang out with me. Where is she? Where are you? Why'd she run away from me? I could have healed her already. Oh, she's right there. Did you really? Are you gonna go for it? Alright. Girls, where are you, girls? Girl, I couldn't save. I couldn't save y'all. I tried to save y'all. And where are you guys? Messing around in the police department somewhere. Coffee, papas. Papas, chorizo y huevos. I'm set to watch. Yay! Woo woo woo! Cheers to that. Happy New Year, Ronnie. And we got out. We did not use my med kit, but look, I worked my ass off to try to get the randos out. Happy New Year. Yeah, cheers to that. Cheers to a new year. Matt's twin! Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Welcome in, twin. Are you home? How have you been? How was Christmas? I miss you so much. I miss you. Also, guys, all of my VODs are going to be uploaded to YouTube now. So, yesterday's VOD is up on YouTube. Maybe I should add a command for YouTube. Also, Ronnie, Mads, make sure you guys check in with the check-in command. I added that like right before I left. My Christmas was good. My Christmas was so good. I'm still back home at Dan's. Wait, fans. Oh. Bye. LOL. Yes, check in.
Okay. Let's try to stay.
I've never read your About Me. I didn't know that you worked in a school system. I used to, yes. I should change that. When I first started streaming, I was a teacher, or I worked in schools. I'm a teacher by profession. But I work in fundraising now. Where is she? Oh! I hate this map! I hate this map, guys! I don't know where anything is. I don't know where the gens are. I don't know where the pallets are. Whiff, bitch! Whiff twice, bitch! Ah! Whiff 3 times, bro! Whiff 4! Whiff 4! You're not better than me, bitch! Finally. They whiff 4 times! Oh, no save for you! GG. Wait, are you who you think you are? You know the trick to find gens, yeah? No! No, I don't. You have to tell me. Usually, if it's an outdoor map, I like look up and I look for the lights. But, you know, I can't really do that here. They're vacuuming upstairs. There's not much I can do about that. Oh, it's not who I thought it was. Oh wait, I have slippery meat, guys! Will I unhook myself? Will my meat be slippery? Look at them hiding. Will my meat be slippery? My teammates aren't doing anything, guys. Slippery meat! Aw, no slippery meat. Like, Fung, what are we doing? What? Like, I don't even want to play with you guys. Look at this guy hiding. What are you doing? You have a whole flashlight. You don't know where I went. Hi, artist. Come. I couldn't run, guys. Yeah, pick me up. Pick me up. Pick me up. Get me out of the game. Thank you. My teammates didn't want to play. My teammates were crawling around. What am I gonna say? What am I supposed to do? GG's. That Fung looked at me. Literally stared at me in my face and went. They didn't want me in the team. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Dude, I kind of ate with the whiffs. Look at me. I'm gonna go make more coffee, and I'll let the game load. I'll be back. I need to wait 20 more seconds. No! No, you don't! Just kidding. Actually, oh fuck! Just knocked everything over. Because that check-in was supposed to be a counter. Why is it not working? I didn't get any. Oh, I have to make a. There you go. Wait, guys, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. Yes! All the whiffs, all the whiffs. I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Fuck! I'm not ready. How was your holidays? My holidays were so good. It was so. I was in New York for the week of Christmas, and I got to see my friends, like my best friends, and hang out with my mom and my brother, my family. So it was a lot of fun. And I got back really sick, so I've been sick all week. Ooh, I love this map. Oh, the lights in the rooms. Wait, that's so smart. Hi, guys. All right. Guys, I have to use this med kit. It's part of my tome. There it is. There's a gen. Who loves Gideons? I love Gideons! I think it's because I'm a fan of the Saw movies. So I don't mind it. I used to hate this map too. But I think this map is a lot of fun. Maybe I'm not in the know. Why do people hate this map? Why do people hate this map? Tell me, Ronnie. Put me on. Maybe I'll stop being a loser. This and Hawkins are my least favorite. I love Hawkins. The lab with the generator like hidden off in that one greenhouse. I love that map too. They're so fun, and I love RPD. Those are probably my 3 favorite maps. I don't like any not really any outdoor maps. Who's the killer? It's a silent killer. Oh, it's Myers. Senor Myers. Oh, oh. Guys, did you see me? But those two inside that. I'm gonna get. Guys, Myers is scary. He's so quiet. I have to buy him before it's too late. Yes, you do. What are you doing, Ronnie? Go get Myers. Go get your Miguel. I was thinking about buying Leon, but then I'm remembering that the Stranger Things collab is coming out, and I really want to get Dustin. So. Mr. Myers, I see you chasing Leon. Go get that twink. Look at him, like Scooby-Doo. It's Scooby-Doo, guys! Back and forth, back and forth! Please. Please. He knows where I'm at. I'm gonna go down this way. He broke the gen. Nice. Go after that gen. You didn't break the gen. Me asustó. Por favor, Miguel. Por favor. Déjame, déjame. No! Why did I get stuck on the thing? Why did I get stuck on that? Joey! Happy New Year! No, I have to deplete the medkit. Thank you. Thank you. I have to deplete the medkit. I have to deplete the medkit. Toodle. Tootie! I got it. I got it. I needed to deplete my medkit, friend. Joey, Happy New Year. Don't worry, guys. I have slippery meat. Haven't gone against the scratch mirror Mikey in a hot minute. I miss him so much. How do you know if it's the scratch mirror? See, how do you know all this stuff? I don't know anything about killers. Like, killers... I just learned from watching people play. Pop goes the weasel. Go, Mikey, go. Go, Miguel, go. Oh. Bye. Happy New Year. How was your New Year? How was your New Year with fam? Friend, Nestle's gonna be here next week, and we'll be in Chicago Sunday. Ronnie, you have to teach me how to know. They tend to be more sneaky and play for the means. Seems some miles would go everywhere. Oh. Very chill. How about you? The holidays were fun. I did get sick, but I'm really feeling better now. I was sick for about a week. You can kind of still hear it in my voice. Good job, Leon. There must be another gen down here, right? Guys, I need a new controller. What y'all planning on Saturday? Literally nothing but hanging out in Chicago. We haven't come up with a plan yet. But the plan is to be in Chicago all day. If you're around. Oh. He didn't come back? He didn't come up with her. Oh, he did come up with her. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Ah, whiff, bitch. Damn. Damn. Oh. Oh. Oh no. You see all those TikToks with people screaming? Yes. Okay, okay, bet. Tito! Hi, Tito. Happy New Year. Not at work. Go, go, go. Go. Will she make it out? She made it out. Period. Hey! Let's go! Come and get us! Come and get us, you won't. Hi, Leon. Come on. Come on. Oh! Let's go. Everybody out. He DC'd! No way! LOL that Leon threw a flashbang and the Myers DC'd. Why? We were at the end. Just get your points. You chased us the whole time. What's up, Leo? Welcome in. Happy New Year. It's already endgame. That's what I'm saying. You already made it to the end. I didn't even use the whole medkit, guys. Guys, I have to use the medkits. Let me grab my coffee. Fart! Guys, we're playing with the fart. Do you remember me? I don't know, Leo. Do you remember me? Yeah, I remember you, Leo. You're the one I had to add on PlayStation to play with some DVD. Depressed. I don't know. Guys, make sure you check in. I'm gonna make sure my... There you go. Check in, check in. Oh my god, you stole first from Ronnie. No, Ronnie. Oh. Ronnie, you missed your first. I'm sorry. Yeah. Joey, silly.
Let's avoid the hooks and hit those generators.
Hey boys. Okay, ready? We're gonna kill the killer, okay? He thinks that he's gonna kill us. We're gonna kill him. Oh, it's a fucking night, bro. Damn, already sending his girlfriend out to look for us. So rude. Fart! He's chasing Fart! Oh, come here, Rick. Here, I'll heal you. I have to use this med kit. There's a new killer survival. A new killer survival? What does that mean? It's okay, I'm first in my heart. You're first in my heart. And honestly, in the VOD too. There's gonna be a new killer out. There are 2 killers coming for sure that I know of. They're adding the Stranger Things Vecna, and then they're adding this new community killer that like was voted upon. This like fallen angel killer. Damn, you got my girl Arella over there doing all the work. Go, David. Oh! Why am I not looking forward? We're almost done with the medkit. They're bringing Vecna, which is Yeah, they have Vecna like Dungeons and Dragons Vecna, who is what Vecna's named after in Stranger Things, but they're adding the actual Stranger Things. Like, where are you going, sir? I'm gonna go through the window. Stupid bitch! Get the fuck out of my game! Hit me! Hurry up! Hit me already! You fat bitch! It is dumb. It's okay, I got slippery meat, guys. It is a little dumb. Guys, do we think my meat is slippery? Come on, meat. Come on, meat. Are you slippery? 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 Two more. Are you slippery? I'm not slippery, not today. He's already here. Yeah, it's fine. You don't want to hit me? Oh, you don't want to hit me! You don't want to hit me! Hey, get off my man! Bow, bow, bow. Oh, whiff! Whiff, daddy, whiff! Take a whiff. Take another one. Sniff my pits, dad. Oh, ah! Whiff again! Non-slippery meat, but worth it. It's okay. Get me up, get me up! What kind of characters are coming? I know 11's coming, and Dustin is coming. And then 11 and Dustin, and they're getting, it seems like they're gonna get a Eddie and Robin skin. Yeah. And then I think there's a new map coming, Ronnie, am I right? I don't know how to change the ad quote thing. I think I need to make it on StreamerBot instead. Get that. Oh, shite. He wants me. Why would you double back like that? Oh, he's sending his girlfriend out. Come, come. Come, Mr. Knight. Oh. Rick! Zaddy! Why is she still on the hook, bro? I can't. I'm so hyped. A Sailor Robin? Yes, I did. No, it's in the teaser, isn't it? Did I just make that up? I'm pretty sure it's in the teaser. Guys, you guys need to get on a gen. Where is he? Oh, there's a gen back there. Ooh, a flashlight. I can't afford to take a hook. The holidays got me fucked up. No, it's okay. You know what? Less pressure to be in the know. We don't need to always know everything, okay? We can learn things late. You should have some grace, Ronnie. But yes, in the teaser, if you look at the teaser stuff for chapter 2 of the Stranger Things collab, you'll see Robin in the front and Eddie. But it's speculated that they're just cosmetics that you can buy, like legendary skins that you can buy for Dustin or Robin and Eddie are gonna be legendary skins for Dustin and Eleven. Are you slugging? Yeah, don't be weird. Yes. Okay, the girlfriend's coming. Oh, he's on that gen. He doesn't know that the girlfriend's coming. Thank God, but he saw me for sure. He knows I'm gonna try to get Rick. Oh no, they got Rick. He saw me. Oh my God, sending your little girlfriend to fuck me up is crazy. Please, please, please. Get to the pallet. Oh. Like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Try to get the bed. Ooh, nice. Don't know what day that is yet. Okay, bad. Yeah, yes, 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 yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. The Sabo, please. Get the other one. Get the other one. I don't deserve to die. Bitch, you're a fucking bitch is what you are, whore. Got a blast. He's mad, guys. Oh, he is not happy about that one. Woo! 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 Oh! Oh, you're a cheater. Oh, you're a cheater. Please, 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 please. Come on, send your girlfriend out. That's all you know how to do. You don't want this. Whiff, bitch! Take this hit, 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 please. Por favor. Oh my God, that's my boyfriend over there. Hi, Omar. Bitch and horror came running. Dude, I'm eating him up on this pallet. Like, wait. Oh, I'm dead here. Wow, you're a loser. You're a loser. Hit that whiff. You better get that whiff again because I was already on the floor. I was already on the floor. What? He needed his girlfriend to come and beat me up. Let's keep that $1.50. This night couldn't handle me. This night couldn't handle me. He couldn't handle me. OMG, Automod, estape. He has big feelings, it's okay. So do I. I deserve to be there at the end of this game, but it's okay. I will say, shout out to the David King for literally, the David King, he was trying to get me. He was like, don't worry, baby girl, I got you. That was David King. Let's spectate literally just for David. Don't worry, David, I'm watching. It's that gen. He's camping this gen. Team was great, yeah, the team, W team. Oh, there's 2 gens. Oh, he's camping both. Ah, the David is the best player in the game. Dude, this night, he got queued with the wrong team, bro. I just need to see them get out. There's 1 gen left. They're really stuck here at these 2. W fart. I know, I literally got into the lobby thinking fart was gonna be the joke. And fart has been killing it. They need to get on another gen while, like, they each have to be on a gen. They can each be working on a gen, and then each of them could take a chase. Justin over here passing gas in 4K, literally. I'm over here passing gas. Fart, you ate this. No, fart, go back on the gen. You need to get back on a gen. You guys are never gonna finish. Where's Arella? Oh. Alright guys, I'm gonna get in my next game. Good luck to y'all, to be honest. Have you noticed that whenever you have survivors with anything stating that they're good at the game, they're actually ass, but with meme names, they're legit goated? Yes. Ooh, I like this song too. Omar, make sure you check in. I thought you did too. Wait, I'm gonna have to fix it. What is concurrent? Okay. That's strange. A weighted. Is that a weighted Pikachu? It is! I have a Pikachu and a Squirtle. Look at them. Sitting on my couch. On my casting couch. The killer DC'd. Oh no, we had a survivor, a teammate DC. GG.
Reminds me of a story I once read.
I got it from Target. Yes, I got a casting couch in my office. I'm so bad with the camera's flipped, so I always think it's on that side. It's not. It's on this side. It is a casting couch, my very own. Look, it's a safe space. Excuse me. Are you guys just hanging out this Sunday? What are you guys up to this fine Sunday? Excuse me, before the week starts again. Is there are any friends on? No, no friends are on anymore. It's rainy and school starts tomorrow, so today is a catch-up day. Catch up on laundry. Yes! No, that's so real. Omar, given all of the recent Game Awards and press that E33 has been getting, are you bouncing on your leg? I might be. Cause the whole camera shakes? No, it's just every time I hit my desk, it bounces. Every time I hit my desk. Excuse me. Literally an earthquake every time I touch I hit my desk. He was talking to me. I'm going to be playing E33 again. I'm starting it from zero. Like, I'm going to be playing it over on stream. Oh, sorry. Ronnie, don't listen to him. It's okay. You can distract me.
Let's try to not lose any blood.
I'm gonna go in the house. Oh no, there's one right here. Oh, I couldn't go through there? Trying to what? He's been raging again, crying. Oh, he's been playing too? Okay, yeah. Crying again. All the emotions again. I know. I'm definitely gonna play it on stream. Literally, much deserved, much deserved. That game was incredible. And for it to be from an indie studio was like really cool. Just incredibly written. All the music was incredible. Also, you've inspired me to play Dispatch. And I think I'm gonna get that game to play as well. Oh. Guys, I keep fat fingering my crouch button. Alright. I know, me neither. I was so lost. I was like, wait, where is this killer? I keep figuring, my god. I don't know if you can add it. Wait, maybe I have to make you VIP. I thought you were VIP already. I think it's the fingering that got me. Stop, Autobot, please! Let her finger in peace! Here, come help me. Let me help you. Let me help you first. Let me help you first, please! He's just gonna come over here. Look at him. Oh, there he is. Oh, just after the fun. Oh, hey, generator. Let her finger in base. Let me heal you. Nice. Okay. See you soon, Ronnie. Please come back soon. I already miss you. Don't leave me alone with the killer. Where'd he go? Stupid. Where do you think I am, huh? Where do you think I am? You don't know anything about me. Oh, you're on Claudette. Oh, wow. Claudette, please! Claudette, please! He really wants that generator. What gen was that Fung working on? Over here. Whiff, bitch! Baby, no money. Nice. Easy. Easy. Come. Whiff, bitch. Whiff, bitch. Aw, whiff. And that's it. That's a GG's for Chucky.
EMTs are never off. Not even in death, apparently.
Oh. Got my heal. Oh, stun 4 times? Okay. Oh, let's do, the Michonne perk. Where is it? Here. Last Dance. Oh, we're not playing the event. We're playing regular matches. All right.
Stay alive.
Stay alive. Damn. One. I will not be caught. That's one. Dude, my controller! I have a drift on my controller! That's new. Why are we all running? That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. It's fine, will slippery meat be my friend today? Do I have slippery meat? Slippery, slippery, slippery. Fuck. Slippery, slippery, slippery. Come on, please! Alright, no slippery meat. Go, go, go. That was my I have one more chance, but... Come on. Quick, quick, quick.
That hook isn't rusted.
That's fine, that's fine. Oh, BM me! You're tunneling! You're a freak! Or... What? Oh, you're mad. You're mad, doggy. You're mad that I got out of your arms. And I brought you across the map. Oh, he's so mad. Pick up. He's coming back for me. Oh! Wow! You're nasty! Look at you! No one even tried to save me. No one even tried to save me. Boom. L killer. GG's. He was mad at me. He was just mad. You must be fun at parties. You must be so much fun at parties.
Get out of here.
Come on, Quentin. Put on a holiday shirt.
If you want to live, stick with me.
It's Wesker. Damn. Not Stevie Wonder. What is Quentin doing over there? He's trying to get the save. Flop. Hi, Bake. What's up, Noah? How are you? Happy New Year. Happy holidays. How are you? How was your holiday? Are you starting school again soon? We're just playing some Dead by Daylight. I was sick all week, so we're just playing some games. I'm good. Holidays, school starts not this week, next week. Okay, nice. Out of his grasps, by the way. Is there no gen down here? It's above me. Oh, there it is. Because I dropped a class. I know I didn't tell you that. Oh no! Why'd you drop a class? Was it just too hard? Was it too much for your schedule? If you like Justin, I'll tell you a story. You can totally tell me the story. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So is this class with the new professor? Alright, I'm gonna go find Gabe. I can't get up there? What? Oh, he's not even here. He's a whole different gen. But okay, let me tell you what it said in the evaluation form. Oh, yeah, what did you say? Go, Steve, go! Ah! Sorry, Quentin. That's fine. I have slippery meat. It's my first hook. Ooh, got the blind. Come on, meat! Slippery meat! Slippery meat! Slippery meat! Slippery meat! No! It's okay. No slippery meat for me.
Hope that hook isn't rusted.
That's fine. It's fine. I have DS.
Is that the best you got? Too bad.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Much further.
It's okay. Unprofessional language. Live. Unprofessional learning environment. Well, were they black? But being biased to females and saying males don't belong? Makes the class all about her. Is she black? Well, she can say the N-word if she's black. Makes the class all about her. Told me I don't belong. And expressing love for students. Quote, since none of y'all love me enough, we will do a Zoom class. Damn. I don't really know the context of any of that, but a black teacher can say the N-word. Especially in college. Not to a class full of white students. But is she calling people that, or is she saying the word?
Some kind of prank?
Like, for the class. Well, I'm glad you're taking the class over. Kinda both. I can't imagine a black person calling a white person the N-word. So, I find that already very hard to believe. But let's practice not policing women, black people in general. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I think that if you're the student in that situation, she's allowed to kind of just talk however she feels is appropriate in her classroom, especially at the college level. That's how I feel about that. Just FYI. I don't care about her anymore. Well, yeah, let's move on. I'm excited. Are you excited to retake the class though? What was the class about? Humans 103. Is it like humanities, like an English class? Like a writing class? Is there anyone on? Does it have to be the same match? Because I've definitely stunned this person. I stunned him a million times. 4 times. Human services. Ooh. I said never finger on a trigger. ABA so fast. So what's ABA in the field of human services? What's ABA? Explain, explain. I'm getting my water. I'm here. I'm still listening. Oh, kids with disabilities. Awesome. I literally am right back. I literally just went to go get my water. My feelings are crushed. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you guys can take that one. Oh, it's a Houndmaster. She is zooming. Timothy, I need him back. Yeah, Tim's an adult. Tim's an adult with a life. I might be seeing him soon though. I'm excited. Coco Loco, run! Run! Oh, good stun. I did get distracted there. Too distracted. It's okay, I'm alone. But she was close. We don't all need to be working on the same ones, guys. Oh, damn. Bitch is zooming. Alright, I tried. Oh, I have to mend myself? Why? Nice. Kate, where'd you go? Oh, nice. Thanks, guys. First hook.
I won't forget this.
Hey, girl. Oh my god, bro. Well, why did she look down? Oh! Oh! Why would she? Come on, slippery meat. Slippery meat, slippery meat, slippery meat. Come on. Fuck you. Ari! Hi, Ari! Happy holidays! Merry Christmas! Welcome in! How are you? How are you? Tell me how your holidays were. First holidays as a mom? Tell me how that went. Interesting. I don't have any more DS. She has Ruin. Please. She does have Ruin. She's being aggro. Yeah, put me back on this hook. Oh! How could you? Why are you being so mean? She sends her dog across the map. She's being so mean. She's being so mean. What did I do? I'm just trying to stun you, girl. Happy New Year. Yeah, I'm doing good. Baby, just Christmas. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Very first we moved in. That's congrats. That's congrats. That's awesome. Congrats. That's really, really cool. She's gonna come right the fuck back over here. Watch. Can you guys double real quick? Double quick, double quick. Yeah, one of you can take a chase, please. Sorry, Michaela. That was my bad. I'm gonna just go for the hook. Oh, I'm gonna do this first. Yes, that's awesome. Have you just been sharing a room with your baby for right now? Like, since they've been born? Also, what's your baby's name? If you don't mind me asking. Also, life's been good. Holidays were good. I did get sick last week, so I've been sick. But I'm better now. I'm way better now than I was like a week ago. It's awesome. I'm just gonna work on this gen. Oh. Why? Don't be scared. Let her live. But no, I can see why you would want to like save that for a little bit. Alania, oh what a beautiful name. What a beautiful name. I'm so bad at this game, dude. I can't hit a skill check. I can't hit a skill check. One of you has to get Hook. Playing with that stupid flu going. Oh yes, literally. So my mom had the flu last week before I left, and pretty much she spread it to so much of our family. My brother got sick, my uncle, my grandma. She was sick for a while. I just want to finish the gen. Yeah, she's just gonna camp Hooks. I didn't get sick though. I know. Lucky you, huh? Hey, Migs. Okay, they got the hook off. Okay. Send the hound. Send the hound. Look, the hound's coming. Look at her. Look at her. Already looking. Nice, Kate. Let's go for the gen. Let's double it. No. Where's Rick, bro? What's good, chat? Hi, Mike. What's up? What's up? How's your weekend? Maury! Damn. Hold it. Hold it. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving the gen. I'll let her kill me. Rick! 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 Come back! Rick! Come here! Let me heal you. Nice. She's not here. Should mean she is here. Nice. Oh, she hit her. Maury, sir. Oh! Oh, the dog's eating her! Yeah, what'd she make? What'd she make? What'd she make? She's not on this door. She left. Come on, open the door, Rick. Houndmaster, come and get me, Miss Houndmaster. You thought you were gonna kill me. You thought you were gonna kill me. Chifa? Oh, yum. Yes, I am definitely feeling better. I wanted her to come say bye. Because she was being a freak. And I still got out. And I still got out, Houndmaster. And so did Rick. Thank you to the homies. Not saucy. Oh, okay. I feel like a lot of Central American cuisine has like noodles in their meals. Glad you're feeling better. Oh my god. Well, doesn't like labor take, like, don't women usually get sick after labor and stuff? Because they're just like it's taken so much out of them.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
I failed you.
I didn't get any stuns, but I did get out. So what now? So Michael, have you been enjoying Arc Raiders? I do have the game. I played it once. And honestly, I've been scared to play it. To be honest, I've been scared to play it again. To keep playing it. I really like it. Well, next time you're playing, you should let me know. And I'll play with you. I'll play with you. Yay! Gosh, I don't even know. All I know is we go through postpartum. I'm dead. Well, right? You didn't really know you were pregnant to term, right? So there was just like a lot of stuff you didn't really get to prepare for, huh? I hope you're feeling good though, and I hope that postpartum isn't kicking your ass. I'm so happy to see you. And I'm glad the holidays went well, and I'm so excited about your new place. Like, it's gonna be great. I'm probably gonna play today, period. Do you play solo? I know, that's what you were saying. This song's good. Ark is so much fun. You've been playing with Meg? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I played once with a friend and then never played it again. I honestly didn't have that much fun playing that game, but it's also because the UI is so complicated on console that I'm just like, this is not simple enough for me to want to farm and like build and craft and make sure that I have all this shit.
We have
Like,
one shot here.
I also think that people play that game so aggressively that it's just not fun sometimes for like people who just want to play. It's a lot more friendly solo. Sometimes we duos, trios, most toxic. Ew. See, like, I don't want to play like that, you know? Like, I just want to have a good time. Nemesis? Go to Shack. Hit the gen. He didn't hit the gen. He just comes straight for me. Cut through Shack, cut through Shack, cut through Shack. You know you want to. Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't want to. He really doesn't. Oh, it's a Bam Bam. It's a Bam Bam. Whiff, bitch! Exclamation point whiff, please. He left me alone. He got tired of me. And that pallet is still up. Go to the gen. You know you want to. You don't know where I am. They're on that gen. I'm gonna go into the boat. Mike, can you do exclamation point whiff, please? WIFF. The more friendly you play, the more likely it is that you lobby with other people who are also friendly. Interesting. I wonder how they set up that matchmaking. Yo. He sniffed me. He went. I'm gonna go on that gen because nobody's working on it. It was almost done. Come on, break the pallet. Oh, just goes for the save. Here comes the zombie. And apparently the robots are getting smarter. Smarter! He's right behind me, isn't he? Damn, that zombie scared the shit out of me. Progressively learning? Oh, okay, okay. Oh my god, bro. What are my teammates doing? Come on, pick up at the window. Pick up at the window. Pick up at the window. No, pick up at the window. Pick up. You're a fucking dumb bitch, you dumb zombie whore. I hate you. Nice. Come on! Ugh, I hate you. Pick me up. God, this guy is aggressive. Slippery meat. All right, slippery meat. This is your chance. First try, slippery meat, guys. First try. First try. That's fine. Come on, DS. DS. Dog. Dog. My meat is the slipperiest, Nemesis. Don't you ever forget that. My meat over your meat. My meat is and will always be the slipperiest move. Come on, Jar Jar B, heal me. First try, first try. So there is a chance you get off the hook, Mike, but in the last game I did not get off the hook first try.
I won't forget this.
I didn't even get off the hook last. Oh, actually, that's not true. I did. My meat was slippery last game too. All right, let's go get a spray. Like, I hate these zombies, bro. How does he know to come back over here? I want to get last stand value too. I can loop him around here. Try again. Stunned him. No! Take the hit! What is this guy doing running away from me? Why did he run away from me? You're supposed to take the hits! Oh my god, dog. Please be serious. Please, somebody come help me. He was supposed to take that hit. Look at him now. Now he's getting chased. Nancy, please. Lost me. Don't know where I went. Nancy, where'd you go? I don't know where Nancy went, but I'm gonna work on this gen. Oh, I see Nemesis up there. I don't know where Nancy went. Please, Nancy, come back. Go to the gen. Go to the gen, please. Let's clip on the generator. LOL, he's stuck. The zombie is stuck, guys. Oops. I broke the zombie. Nancy, it's you! My hero. Hi, Nancy. Oh! Not the no ed. He's gonna Mori him.
I got you.
Go!
We're gonna be alright.
Nancy, run! Get out of here, Nancy. I don't know where our teammate is. Fully healed and not helping. Damn. Oh, they finally found the no ed. They're getting worried. She's getting worried. No, she's not. He's coming after me. I can't get up unless Cheryl comes. Nice, Cheryl. Okay, fine. We are gonna survive. I'm confident. Okay, picked her up. He doesn't even know where I went, to be honest. I'm gonna try to crawl out. Let's see where he disappears to. He might think I'm still on the other side of the map. Will I make it to the end? Will I make it to the door? Look at him looking for me. Come on, will she die? Will she know to die? I wish I had Unbreakable. I wish I had Conviction. So what's your streaming schedule looking like? Weekends. Thursday through Monday. With days off. Like sometimes I'll stream Thursday, sometimes I won't. Where is he? He's right there. Looking for me. Hey Cheryl. Or Nancy. Thank you for trying to save me. But look for me, girl. Will I make? I don't think I make it out, but mostly will be to yes. Thursday through Monday, every weekend during the day. Yeah, except for like, obviously Fridays and Mondays will be after work. I'm gonna die, but it was worth it. I'm almost at the door. He lost me though. I was almost at the door, guys. Look at this. Yeah, Fridays and Mondays after work. Thursdays will be like sort of like my sometimes. If I know that I like next weekend, I know I won't be able to stream really. So I'm gonna stream Thursday as well. Ah, I was so close to the door. GG's. Michael, make sure you check in. Use the check in redeem. Check in redeem. I actually just uploaded my first VOD on YouTube, which I'm gonna make that now. I'm gonna make that a command now. How do I check in? It's a redeem. If you go down to where those points are, the Fannel points, you're just gonna hit check-in. Daily check-in. There you go, buddy. Hey, easy viewers, my booty hole. Deny. Oh, there's no more bonus. All right, for the last hour of stream, I think. Oh, and we got the stun with no mither. How long are you streaming today? I was only gonna stream for like another hour now since it's a little active today. I tend to try to stream 3 hours. I don't know what I want to play though. There's so many games I have to finish on stream that I haven't finished yet. Like I haven't finished Assassin's Creed. I want to go back and play E33 for like around like from the beginning again. But I have so much fun playing DVD that this is just like a lot of fun to play on stream. I wanted to play Pokemon too, but I left my Switch charger at home. Unfortunately. There are no more bonuses. Okay, let's switch games. I also want to play Baldur's Gate over again on stream. We also have to finish. We have to finish. If you want to play Ark with me, I'll play. Or after stream, I don't care. I also have to play Until Dawn, like finish that game. So I have yet to finish that game too.
Hi, how are you?
Jaden! Oh my god, Jaden! Happy New Year! Happy holidays. I hope you had a great holiday. I hope your break has been good. Happy New Year! Yeah, I don't know what to play, guys. I go back to school tomorrow. What? Already? Damn. That was a short break, huh? Only like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. How's your break been? I don't really want to play Ark on stream, to be honest. If I'm being really honest. Touching a lot of grass. I'm so proud of you. Grass touching is important. I think we're gonna play. Oh, I have to copy it. Awkward. Vitamin D. Oh, okay. Did you now? Yeah, I don't. All these games I would have to copy. And guys, I think it's official. Oh yeah, I'm like leaning all forward. Fortnite's dead. I don't know if I'm ever gonna play Fortnite again. How's your New Year's and Christmas? New Year's, it was really hard because I was sick, but it was a lot of fun to just relax. We watched so much TV, so many movies. And then Christmas was a lot of fun to be home with family. We played so many games. It was a good time. I don't really know what I want to play. Maybe I just want to chat with y'all. Boo, Fortnite, boo. Fortnite is officially dead. I don't know, just to me, you know, like, I don't want to project this on anybody, but I just haven't been enjoying it, or like I have, but it's just not the same anymore. And I'm just not interested in it anymore. Is that, maybe I just outgrew it, you know, like it's right here. Like not compelled to go in there and play at all. Yeah. What did you do for Christmas? What did you do for your New Year? Were you with friends? Did you spend it with your family? Did you travel? And everyone is sweating out their minds. I mean, I guess it's really that thing where it's like, why are people sweating so hard in this game? Like, I don't understand the need to be good at it that way. Whereas I feel like when DBD is sweaty, it's still tolerable. Like you can still like sit through a game, you know? Because it's over in a minute. I might just end here. I appreciate you all for being here. You got a keyboard? No way. New Year's, spent some time with my baby nieces. Oh my god, that's awesome. Yes. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna end. I'm still recovering from being a little sick. So I think I'm going to cut it. Everyone's getting sick too. Yeah, I'm at the butt end of my sickness. Like, this is the end of being sick. Yeah, and then I'll be streaming again tomorrow. So we'll be live again tomorrow. Maybe we can play some E33 tomorrow. And then my birthday's next week. Like, I'm just so excited. Like, I love this time of year. I love my birthday. Like, I love being around family and like good company. So it's just been a good time. Yeah, yeah, literally. My birthday's next week, and Wong will be in Wisconsin at the end of the month, so I'm excited to see him too. Like, I mean, I'm just excited. Life's pretty good right now. Oh hell yeah. Yeah, who are we gonna raid? Who are we gonna raid? Oh, Zeiss isn't on anymore. Anxiety's on. Silence is on. Astral's on. Let's go right to Anxiety, since they were in here yesterday. 34th birthday. You trying to get rocked? Take it back. Take it back. Take it back. 34. Take it back. We're gonna rate anxiety. Unk level. Get my. Take it back! Take it back. I'm not 34. I'm only 31. Anyway, go follow the YouTube. All my VODs will be there. We're gonna raid anxiety. He's thebomb.com. He'll be DMing a D&D campaign for me soon. And maybe we can even do some live D&D this year. If people are interested in doing some campaigns on stream. Love you too, Mike. I'll text you about Arc or literally anything. We could play any game if we get tired of it.